Let's adjust this one up. Let's adjust this one down a little bit. Son of a bitch. Trying to adjust here because I'm on two platforms. And I'm doing this.
Take a picture and let TikTok pick.
No. Jesus Christ, TikTok, you are making my life absurdly fucking hard. Really? Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate TikTok. TikTok, I hate you. I fucking hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Motherfuckers. It is just total insanity that I let it go on for this long, you know? That's the problem. That is the problem. I let it go on for too long. I let myself get addicted to TikTok. And now that I've wised up to the fact that it's all bullshit on TikTok and that they're just total scam, then now it's too late almost. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to adjust my camera for TikTok too. Because clearly the most important one is YouTube. But you still made you money. Yes, it did. It did make me money. I made 2 cents yesterday on my live stream. So you could actually say that I got in my 2 cents worth or got out my 2 cents worth, one or the other. Now let's see if this won't hold. This will not hold. Will this hold? Nope, that will not hold. Okay, son of a bitch. I just really want to pretend like I never met you, TikTok. Look, it was good for a while. It was good until it wasn't. It was good until the Chinese got rid of TikTok and gave it to Israel. Then the shit hit the fan because there's a difference between spying and censorship. Okay, when you're spying on somebody, you let them talk. You listen to what they're saying. You try to figure out what they want, but you don't control them. That's not what you do. On the other hand, if you're trying to control them, not spy on them, then you censor the shit out of them. You censor them for all they're worth. You basically make sure that whatever they say, it's carefully monitored. Yes, that's true too. So, interesting stuff coming out, and a bunch of others. No, not really. Just my followers, and only the ones that were buying silver. And believe me, when you look at how much I made and how much they made a lot more than I did, which is fine. That's the whole point of me being in business. I wanted them to make money, and they did. They will. Oh, what is it right now? Oh, it's $113.25. It is just climbing like crazy. By the way, more likes attract more viewers. Not that really matters when it comes to these guys, because clearly they don't want me to talk. They just don't want me to talk. And that's sad. That hurts my feelings. TikTok, you're hurting my feelings. I have rights, you know. Maybe I should just tell them. I'm Jewish. So TikTok, get off my ass. You're being anti-Semitic and I don't dig it. I'm going to report you to the ADL. And then they're going to start monitoring every single thing you do because they just admitted that they monitor anybody who they think is dangerous, like the crazies in the anti-war movement. What? Yeah, he specifically singled out the people in the anti-war movement. You fucking lunatics who don't like war. What is wrong with you? Wake up. Anyway, none of this matters because today I got a hold of the documentary that a friend of mine and I have been working on and waiting for a long time. He did all the work on the documentary. I helped him early on with his funding and stuff like that. But Ben Davidson of spaceweathernews.com, if you haven't gone to see his documentary, go now. Go. Don't be a part of this live stream. That's what I'm saying to you. Get the fuck out of here. Go to YouTube and watch Space Weather News. It is called the Disaster Cycle, some shit, something like that. Here, let me look it up because I want you guys to go to the right place. It's important to me. Let's see. Oh, I was like, son of a bitch. It's called How Civilization Ends for Us. And then I realized, no, that's me. That's my live stream. And well, son of a bitch. Ben's doing a live stream too right now. Come on, Ben. We're not supposed to be competing with one another. Not that I'm competing with him. He's got 836,000 people. The Disaster Cycle, full documentary. That is the name of it. And it's an hour and 12 minutes that will change your life. And no, I don't mean that facetiously. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying go watch it because this is your future. And if you don't think it is, then why don't you do, say, 14 years worth of research like I have, or even more than that, like Ben has, because mine has been part-time research into climatology, meteorology, et cetera, et cetera. His has been absolutely full-time. That's why I donated a bunch of money to him when he first started and he didn't have any followers. Well, he had 5,000 followers. So, but I called him and said, look, man, you are a smart guy. You will build it up on YouTube. Yes, I will. And one of the reasons is I'm going to teach people how to survive what's coming. And what's coming is not a joke. What's coming is absolutely serious. And it's unfortunate that it is happening during our lifetime, but it is what it is. If you have kids, then you're definitely going to want to watch this. Let's see, at 60, yeah. If you're 60, then, hey, you may or may not want to watch this. It may happen in your lifetime. It may not. It depends on how much you smoke and whether or not you eat ding-dongs for breakfast. And no, I'm not making a joke about gay people. I'm saying don't eat ding-dongs. There's no way to say that without it coming out as me making fun of gay people. Anyway, whatever. Eat ding-dongs if you like. It's 2026. I'm supposed to say, not that there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, my point is this. We have a very, very short amount of time left before this disaster cycle thing takes hold. Maybe even shorter than we think. And the reason I say that is because obviously one of the things that we have to concern ourselves with now is solar flares, coronal mass ejections. These are very, very, very common. Now, in the big scheme of things, we don't see them as that common because, even though they happen hundreds of times a month, we don't really have to worry about them. They're fairly small, most of them. And the ones that are a little bit larger tend to be pointed in all kinds of different directions. Because as you can imagine, they fire off in different directions as the sun is rotating around. So the odds of one coming directly at us, pretty slim. On the other hand, it seems that we have a massive, massive coronal mass ejection about every 150 to 200 years. The last one was in 1857. 1857. So we are at least due. What is the documentary called again? I'm looking at it right now. It is called The Disaster Cycle. Full documentary. Absolutely, absolutely watch it. Now, what he's going to lay out, you are welcome. What he's going to lay out is he's going to lay out exactly how and why the disaster cycle happens. Because if you've never heard of the disaster cycle, if you don't know any of this stuff, you're going to go, what the fuck? Why don't I know about this? This can't be true. Well, guess what? Not only is it true, but I have known Ben long enough, and I've been on his sort of team, researching this stuff on my own, and watching his daily show for so long now that in 2014, when I talked to NASA in Washington, D.C., and I said to them, hey, what do you think the odds are that the sun plays a huge role in climate change, in climate variability? And they literally, and I'm not joking, they literally laughed at me. And they said, you're kidding, right? And I said, no, I'm not kidding. Why? And they said, you think that climate change has anything to do with the sun? The sun's 92 million miles away. It's totally irrelevant. It has nothing to do with our weather. And I said, well, what do you think about micronovas? And they said, yeah, there's no such thing. When a star goes nova, there's nothing left. And I said, well, what about the ones that have gone nova? And it's a small, basically, explosion, but it doesn't blow the entire sun apart. It's almost like a star sneezes really hard. And they said, yeah, that doesn't exist. Well, strangely enough, is that a raccoon bite on your arm? No, I have no raccoon bites. By the way, just in case you're wondering, I don't have a raccoon either. Although I wouldn't mind having a raccoon. That'd be nice. I think they're fun. What about AI? Where do you stand? Will it achieve? Yeah. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope it doesn't achieve general intelligence, because if it does, it will eliminate us. So basically, now we are in a balls to the wall, dead out race. Which I've been saying this. You can go back and see my videos from 3, 4, 5 years ago. You can see that I've been saying for quite a while now that we are in a race about who's going to get rid of us first. Is it going to be general intelligence, or is it going to be the sun? And of course, the two are mutually exclusive. They will cancel each other out. Obviously, general intelligence will not cancel out the sun, but the sun will cancel out AI. Then the reason I say that is because with a large enough solar outburst, say a massive coronal mass ejection, we don't just lose the grid, we lose everything that could possibly help us rebuild the grid. So it's game over. I mean, that's it. It's game over. We no longer have, and this is something that a friend of mine in Idaho who has a very large bunker, actually. very one of those rich guys with a big bunker. He said, how do you make a pencil? If you're going to draw something, you're going to want a pencil. How do you make a pencil once the grid goes down? Because making a pencil actually takes several steps. And yeah, that's something I've also talked about for 10 years now. Is it's not just that there's no backup on nuclear power plants. When you have a massive outburst like that, it will take out the generators that run the backup cooling system that cools the core. Now, I don't know if he talked about this in his documentary, The Disaster Cycle, because I haven't watched it all yet. I started to watch it, realized I need to do a live stream, and I already know everything he's going to talk about in that disaster cycle. I mean, I've lived it for the last 12 years, 13 years now. Well, let's see, 13, 14 years. Since about 2012, maybe 2013, I've been studying this almost every single day. Now, Ben has been studying it every single day for several hours, 8, 9, 10 hours every single day. So I don't know that there's anybody in the world that's better prepared to talk on this than he is. So, he's definitely the guy. If the sun go, bunkers won't save us. Well, no, as a matter of fact, the thing is, bunkers are a great way to get rid of the dickheads of the world. And what I mean by that is the antisocial dickheads who are either extremely wealthy and think that they're above everyone else, and they're going to go dig a hole in the ground, and they're going to have filters and scrubbers and every other damn thing. And it's because of that they're going to survive. Well, guess what? The one thing that they can't do is they can't stop being assholes. Ben Davidson. It's Space Weather News on SO on YouTube. I don't know. I don't think he does TikToks, but I will say this. He's been doing YouTube now. I think the first time he actually missed a day was about 4,600 days in. He does the Space Weather News every morning at about 5:30 is when it comes out, which means he gets up a couple hours earlier than that to study charts and graphs and whatnot. He's extremely dedicated. Ben Davidson is, without a doubt, the leader in this field, because this field really doesn't exist yet. It will, but it doesn't exist yet. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example. Ben Davidson right now is like silver was 5 years ago when I first got in it, and nobody knew that silver was the way to go. And everybody was saying, yeah, let's buy gold, just in case something goes wrong. Although what could possibly go wrong? It's like, no, it's going to go very wrong, and don't buy gold, buy silver. And the reason I said that was because I did a lot of homework first. Same thing here. Ben Davidson is not a joke. He's not some psycho cult leader who wants a bunch of people to do everything he does, or think of him as a prophet. He's just a very intelligent guy who was about to become a lawyer and realized that being a lawyer is a complete and utter waste of life. What's the next thing? I missed it. Ben Davidson was also a Raider lineman, I believe. Yeah, not this Ben Davidson. Although I'll tell Ben you said that. He'll probably get a kick out of that, because I think he's about 5'10", maybe 5'9". And when I met him, he was, soaking wet. He was about 140. And now he's probably soaking wet about 180. And it's all muscle. And it's because he realized that there's no point in surviving the initial solar event only to be beaten up and robbed by a bunch of Girl Scouts. So he started training, and he's been doing mixed martial arts and training now for years, and he doesn't even look like the same person. It's actually kind of amazing. I'm very proud of how seriously he took it. So anyway, but he made a joke about Colorado Springs, Colorado. I told him that I was thinking about moving up there, and he said, "Yeah, it figures. Everybody up here is military, and they're all your size, and sucks." I just laughed. So, but I don't think he thinks of himself as small anymore. You typically don't. And in Ben Davidson's case, when you're that good at taking care of yourself physically and emotionally, yeah, you don't worry about size as much. You know. Um, let's see. Yeah, he's actually doing a live stream. I'm not really sure like what the live stream's all about, but um, I'm obviously doing a live stream as well. I have 7 people on mine. He's got 668 watching his. It's a couple more than I have. It's like 661 more. Anyway, I'll get there. I will get there. But this is something that I want to work on with you folks a lot. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing, because here's the thing about Ben. He's too smart, and he's a pain in the ass because he leaves me in the dust. About half the time when he's talking, I have to slow him down and really to understand what he's talking about. Do you have 110? When will the sun go? There's 2 halves to that. The sun could go literally at any moment. As far as a coronal mass ejection that knocks out the grid, it could happen tomorrow. We're about 50 years overdue for a decent coronal mass ejection that's Earth directed. They happen all the time. Back in 2012, we missed one by a couple days. The sun had just turned out, and as it turned out on the limb as it was moving away from us, there was a coronal mass ejection that was so massive that even NASA, not at the time, but a year later, in retrospect, said that was a kill shot. And what they meant by a kill shot was they meant that if that coronal mass ejection had been pointing towards Earth when it went off, that would have been the end of humanity, period. End of fucking story. Like, end of story. Now, there's a lot to this, and there's a lot that I've gleaned from him, from Graham Hancock, from Randall Carlson, who, if you're on my channel on YouTube, you'll see that I've done a couple of different things with Randall because he's a really good friend of mine and super intelligent guy. Everybody's got different theories about what's happened over the last 12 to 15,000 years. Because of that, I listen to everyone. But because I listen to everyone and I study all these different disciplines, my prognosis is different than everybody else's. And that's simply because I have studied everything. I'm not studying one thing or another. And because of that, I think that they're all right in their own way. Maybe that was the Mayan doomsday. No, it was definitely not the Mayan doomsday. The Carrington event clearly wasn't either. You talking maybe sun flares? Yeah, but a solar flare is usually a short duration. Sometimes they're a longer duration. But what I'm talking about is what's called a coronal mass ejection, and that is where the sun basically sneezes in a weird way. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but you think about a sneeze. You've seen where they do the lighting just right. When somebody sneezes, you're like, oh shit, that's gross. All the stuff that flies out of their mouth. Well, imagine that's the sun, and that instead of that mist that comes out when somebody sneezes, imagine it's hundreds of trillions of tons of superheated plasma, and it's blasted directly at Earth. Now, what normally happens is you have the Earth's magnetic shield, which just sort of slows it down and redirects it around and kicks it out. Okay, great. That is fantastic, except there's one small problem. When the Earth's magnetic shield gets all flipped around, or the north and the south flip ends, which they do all the time in the big scheme of things, not 3 times a day, but every few 100,000 years, they flip back and forth. Sometimes they'll wander around a little bit and then they'll go back. Here's the problem. When that happens, Earth's magnetic shield is very, very weak. That's actually happening right now. So we're in a really weird situation where Earth's magnetic shield, because the poles are flipping, everybody knows that. That's not controversial. That's not some lunatic fringe idea. Look at NASA. Talk to the boys at anywhere, any science. They'll tell you, yep, poles are flipping. Problem is, poles are flipping, and we're expecting this enormous solar outburst at the same time. That's catastrophic. Gold is at 52.28. Is it now? Well, hold on. Let's take a look. It is 52. Well, I'm showing 52.16, but let's not fucking split hairs. It's over 52, and that makes me happy. And where's my silver? Yeah, it's my silver. I know you're thinking I thought it was ours. No, it's my silver. If you want to be your silver, you call me and you buy it. See how that works? It's so simple. It doesn't have to be my silver. If you don't own my silver, then I'm sad for you. Farmer, I thought it was Meteor. Not Meteor. You were going to say, Comet. Like big dam in China slows the earth. No, not like that. That big dam, the Three Rivers Dam, or Three Gorges, whatever. The one that's made of shit material that will probably fail at some point pretty soon. What's your minimum purchase? If you spell what's that way, I know that you're young, or your spell check is totally fucking with you. Either way, 100 ounces. Flat earth of round. Well, that's not even a sentence. I'm not sure that makes any sense at all to anybody. So, let's see. We've got, I want to check. Do we still have 668 people watching him? Because what the hell is that? Oh, hold on. Hello? Don. Baby, I told you not to call me while I'm doing the live stream. No, I know. I know Jared's a pain in the ass. And I know Ivanka. Yes, I get it. She's perfect in every way. I get right. Look, can you call me back after the live stream and tell me all this shit? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll answer the phone this time. Jesus Christ. Trump's not nearly the asshole you think he is. He's kind of needy, actually, but I do what I can. World War silver. China's paying $126 an ounce to drain U.S. vaults. Arbitrage. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what arbitrage is, it's just like menage a trois. Same thing, basically. And when I say that, what I mean is it's French. So who cares? Let's see. So don't think I'm making light of the fact that the world is going to end, because I'm not making light of it. What I'm saying is the name of the movie with Richard Gere. Oh, the one he did, that one movie. It's TikTok. What do? You can't take the lead-based paint chips away from them. They ate them when they were kids, and it's too late. Oh, I see what you were saying. Yeah, no, I never watched that movie. If there's a movie called Arbitrage, I didn't watch it. Not my thing. No, Richard Gere did a great job in whatever that was with Julia, whatever that. See, that's the thing. I don't have a lot of space in my brain for bullshit. So all the space in my brain is used for one thing and one thing only. Bacon. Wait, what did I just say out loud? I'm surprised your BFF Elon didn't call. He knows better than that. He knows not to bother me during a live stream. Let's see, pole shift confirmation. We knew that. Yeah. Okay. So just so we're clear. Oh, by the way, if you're on the YouTube, you're definitely going to want to subscribe, please, and tell me what you think in the comments, because what I'm talking about here is right now it's very controversial. In 5 years, not only will it not be controversial, but it'll be something that a lot of people are aware of, but it's something that will never, ever be on the mainstream media. YouTube channel is the same as here. It's big and corn-fed. If you go to up there to my channel and you click the YouTube thing, it'll take you right over there. I've done it, so I know it works. Big, the letter N. Big like November, big and corn-fed. I have to look again. Do it. Do what you got to do there, Chatterbug. Yeah, so here's the key. I want my children to survive this event. I want your children to survive this event. I know that there are people out there who are completely aware of this event. And by the way, I don't want to get into this whole fucking conspiracy, continuity of government, deep underground military bases bullshit. I don't care what they're doing. That does not, it's totally irrelevant to me. What I care about is I care about the people that are normal humans like us surviving this event. And that is going to be important. Now, what's interesting is I just realized something. I have never, ever not had a counter on my live stream on TikTok. There's no counter now. It doesn't show how many people are on here. That's very interesting. I think they're trying to deplatform me. That's okay. If they do, then I will simply do all of my stuff on YouTube. And by the way, I'm going to start doing 107. 107. What is 107? What, are they pushing the price back down? 113. Is there something I should know? 110. No. It's 113.6. Oh, my count. Thank you. Well, son of a bitch, why don't I have a counter up? That's weird. They won't let me see. They just want me to fly blind. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You don't scare me, TikTok. Hear me? I'm not afraid of you. I don't know. I'm just squawking. Okay, so by the way, if you're having trouble, if I'm freezing up or anything here, you just go straight over to YouTube and subscribe. And I promise you'll get content you can't get here. That's interesting. I'm the only one who can't see it. Oh, wait a minute. That's weird. Now it says viewers plus 277. What the fuck? Okay. Smooth on YouTube. It always is. I'm telling you. Okay, so here's the deal. Silver is definitely a part of this whole program. Okay. It's not the major part, though. I know. You guys are like, what the fuck is he talking about? This is my silver guy. This is my guy who's been my silver guy for 5 fucking years. And now he's saying that silver is not the most important thing to me. No, it's not. Because silver does not save your life if the grid goes down. Now, what I'm talking about is there are multiple scenarios here, okay? Let's start with the easiest. TikTok's been having technical, yes. Oh boy, is that a fact. They have been having huge problems. I made a video about some fat ass who was whining about how his lard ass is not my problem. So I looked it up on Grok and found out that we spend like $170 billion a year on obesity because of the medical complications from obesity. I was like, man, this is not his problem. He's making his problems my problem. What do I look forward to find you on YouTube? Well, clearly, a really fucking handsome face. And my name, Big, the letter N as in November, Big and Corn Fed. All one word, Big and Corn Fed. Or you can just go to my channel here and doink, push the button that says Big and Corn Fed, and it'll shoot you right over. I don't know if it'll make that sound though, which is sad because it should. It should just right over to the YouTube over here. Here's the point. We got levels, okay? We're like a fucking parfait, which according to Donkey is about the best damn thing ever. When he said that in the movie, and if you don't know what movie I'm referring to, then I don't like you. But when Donkey said it's about the best damn thing ever, I laughed out loud in the theater because that was not something I expected the Donkey to say. It caught me off guard. It was really funny. I like the old TikTok. Yeah, when they were spying on us, it was bitching because they kept their mouths shut. They just watched. So what? Do I give a shit? I'm being spied on every single day. Like literally the ADL spies on me, Israel spies on me, China spies on me, the CIA, the NSA, the BFD, the fucking everybody spies on me. You know, MI5, it's like, Jesus Christ, do I really care? No, I don't, because all they're going to find out is that I'm as fucking crazy as they thought I was. And I'm no one to be trifled with. That's what they'll find out. But now that the Texas project has taken over, now they're not just spying. They're censoring. They're trying to direct traffic. They're trying to create the perfect dialogue so that that small country in the Middle East can then be in charge of the entire world and live out its dream of enslaving all of us. And I know that sounds horrible, but that's what they say. And so I'm just telling you what it says in their book because I read it. And yeah, yes, Ben Davidson. Where you been? Holy shit, you popped up here 20 minutes after I said his name last time. Yes, Ben Davidson. He's a fucking genius, and he's doing a live stream right now. I probably shouldn't have told you that because you're going to go to his live stream now, and that makes me a little jealous. Wait. Hold on. His live stream's over. Okay. There you go. So you're stuck with me until tomorrow. And by the way, if you haven't watched his documentary, as soon as we're done here, go to his documentary. CNN is saying silver prices are being driven by white supremacists and anti-Semites. That's because CNN is now owned by Larry Ellison's son. And Larry Ellison is the largest private donator in the world to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. He also owns Oracle, the second largest software company in the world, which it says on their website was helped come into existence by the CIA. I can't make this shit up. I don't make this shit up. I simply remember it all. It's a curse, but it's not as bad as the curse of being incredibly handsome and rugged, and I live with that every day. Can you please say what is your YouTube website called? Valerie, I love you. So I'm going to say it again. Big, the letter N, corn-fed. All one word, big and corn-fed. I think that's truth in advertising. Thank you, Albie. Albie to the rescue. Well, there's that too, Penelope. The link is in my bio. You just touched the thing that says big and corn-fed. The thought of you touching big and corn-fed makes me feel all warm and fuzzy in my jellies, by the way. Are you going to tell us how to save our lives? Oh, no, you're fucked. It's over. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that is exactly what I'm going to do over the course of the next 5 years. And yes, it will take that long. It's going to be little micro doses of things like, did you know the reason that you can't keep bacon is because they inject it with water on purpose before they put it in the pack. That way, all the shit that shouldn't grow in it can grow in it. Now, why would you want to be able to salt meat? Well, because it can last for years that way. And it's something that everybody should know how to do. Pemmican. Pemmican is, now I know you're thinking, whoa, dude, you just went off the deep end. You're talking about like prepper shit. Yes and no. There are levels. And again, your level is based on your situation. Look, if you're, where is he? Where'd you go back there? 60-year-old guy. Let's see. Shit. Oh, I guess I can't go backwards on this. Anyway, at 60, okay, here it. Hey, quit commenting. No, I'm just kidding. Don't quit commenting. At 60 years old, I don't have many left. I assume he means years. Which, by the way, just I'm not talking to you there, Charles Dowler Jr., 3511. He's full of shit. It's always guys that say shit like that end up living to be 112. Anyway, you got a lot of time left. 60's not old. All right, you know the thing with the sledgehammer where you ring the bell and nobody can ring the bell, okay? And it's like, oh wow, that guy rang the bell. He must be a stud. All right. When I was 38 years old and playing football in college and working out 4 hours a day, I rang that motherfucker 20 times in a row at the fair. Now, I'm not telling you that to brag, maybe a little, but I went back when I was 60. Yeah, that was in the past, just barely now. Don't get all crazy on me. And I rang it, and it's on my channel, I believe, on YouTube, in case you guys are still looking for a fucking reason to go to YouTube. Here it is. And I rang it 20 times again, 20 years later, without working out 4 hours a day. And the reason I'm telling you that is because when people say it's a mindset, it's a fucking mindset. 20 is you're a baby. You're an idiot. Your brain isn't functioning correctly. Women are the worst because they think their brain actually does function correctly at 20, and it doesn't. But with men, deduct 10 years, and then that's their true physiological / mental age. So when you're 20, you're 10. That's it. And when you're 30, you're 20. And when you're 31, you should be able to drink, and not until then. Let's see. I have alpha gal syndrome. I don't need to worry about that. Alpha gal syndrome. I don't think I understand that. When you're putting 300 pounds into it, yes, that's true. 10, 20, if you're lucky. 10 or 20. Huh. I don't know what that means. I thought you couldn't play college football once you pass the age of 26. No, it's all about eligibility. Once you start your college curriculum full time, 12 units, then you have 5 years. Might be 6. It might be 6 years. I think it's 6 now because Mormons. I know. Don't think I'm bagging on Mormons. I'm not. I'm just saying that because Mormons go on a mission, they go on their mission for a year, they get a special exemption, which of course you can't have somebody get something special. So everybody got an extra year. So you get a red shirt year, but then you also have this extra year now. So I believe it's 6 years. Anyway, my point is, when I was 38, I had not gone to college. I'd gone from high school straight into the Marine Corps, straight into becoming a stockbroker, straight into getting married, having kids, getting divorced, selling off my ATM company, retiring, and deciding at the tender old age of almost 39 years old that, hey, I'm retired now. I'm just going to sit around and pick my nose for the rest of my life. That didn't work out very well because, well, I get bored. I got bitten by a tick, and now I have food allergies to beef, pork, and dairy. Fuck. It sucks that they had to go and create Lyme disease as an experiment, because I guarantee you that's what that is. I mean, look, the idea that Lyme disease popped up directly across from the most toxic island on planet Earth, Plum Island. Yeah, right. And it's a coincidence that the Federal Reserve popped up after a meeting at Jekyll Island of all the wealthiest turds in the world. You know what is lucky? You might have 20 years to live. Shit. 20? You kidding me? Yes, disease is created by them. Every disease. Yes. Well, how old are you? I am 61. I just turned 61 a couple weeks ago. So I've got about, I'd say maybe, I don't know, probably only wait, there. I wanted YouTube to catch that too. I've probably only got about 50 years left. Maybe 48. No, 49. Pretty sure 49. By the way, if you wanted to move to Kamchatka, I'm looking at apartment buildings that are 8, 9, 10 stories that literally have snowdrifts all the way up the side of them. And I really don't think it's AI. And that's just because I've known Russians. Yeah, I'm gonna say I probably got 49. 49 years left, because that would make me what, 110? Yeah, I'm gonna live to be 110. If you don't live to be 110, you're a pussy. And I don't mean that in the female sense, because women clearly live longer. So if you have one of those aforementioned things, you could probably live to be 125 because you cry. Good for you. So fucking proud of you. 76. Somebody put 76. In 1976. You're not serious. Well, I'm serious about living to be 110. Hell yes. Hey, somebody hid this. Don't hide that. It says Charles Drewler says that. Well, oh shit! I gotta click that. It's not a fucking touch screen, dummy. There, show. It says I'm a PU. Let's see. Then, but I still think I could take you to dinner, to lunch, to get ice cream. Yes, you could. Shit, I want ice cream right now. Trombones. Not really sure what trombones has to do with anything, Albie, but then you've always been a little bit different. YouTube big and corn fed. You're on a roll. Thank you very much, Apple user. I appreciate you. But 76 trombones. I have no fucking clue what that means. I don't know. Look, that's dairy. Oh, you can't have dairy. That's right. I forgot. Sorry. I'm not trying to rub in the fact that I eat steak and hamburgers. And what did I have today? Oh, chicken. That doesn't count. That's not meat. Let's see. You could make it to 80 if you're lucky. Oh, no. Shit, are you crazy? 80? When I'm 80, I'm still going to be going to the fucking fair and slamming the shit out of that bell and having people stand around going, what the fuck? How is that guy doing that? And I'll turn to him and I'll say, because by that point, I'll probably be selling some supplement. I'll be like, because I take this fucking supplement, the such and such. And if you want some, I'll sell it to you for X amount. Yeah, exactly, because I'm fucking corn-fed. I don't hope to 80. What? You don't want to live to be 80? Jesus Christ. 350 and corn-fed. Well, I don't know about 350. More like 300. 300 and corn-fed. And yes, when I took my blood pressure this morning, I'm not going to tell you what it was, because, boy, you guys will freak out from the musical The Music Man. Don't eat ding dongs. Good. Not that there's anything wrong with eating ding dongs. So, like when I turned in that fucking movie, Brokeback Mountain, that my girlfriend rented while I was out of town. Oh wait, no, what I didn't. That's right. I didn't turn it in. I went to get another movie, and she had forgotten it behind the TV. So when I went to pay for my movie, the guy who was behind the counter, who was very gay, said, "Are you just going to keep Brokeback Mountain? Because if you are, you can just pay for it now." And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't rent Brokeback Mountain. He goes, sure. Anyway, so do you want to just go ahead and pay for that? And I said, look, no, I didn't rent it. I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I turned around and looked at the 40 people behind me in line at the video store, and they all started laughing. And he said, okay, so what about Memoirs of a Geisha? And I was like, bro, come on, seriously. And then he said, yeah, it looks like you rented it on this date, and it was like 2 weeks prior when I was out of town. And I went, oh, that was my girlfriend who rented that. And he went, so you don't want to buy it? And I said, no, I'll bring it back. I just have to find out where it went. And he goes, So I just thought, wow, that's fucked. Yeah. Anyway, I went home, and my girlfriend said, oh my gosh, it fell behind the TV, and I forgot to get it after it fell behind the TV. And I thought, well, there you have it. Now I'm going to have to go to a completely different video store for the rest of my life. Just kidding. I didn't do that. I went back to that one. I think I went back to it and said, see, I told you I didn't have these. By the way, you got a number, big boy? Let's see. Ignore. What's this? Phoenix officer ignored warnings before killing a man. Well, of course. Look, if you make a cop pull his gun, you deserve to get shot. That's all there is to it. Don't argue with these guys. Just do whatever they say, whenever they say it. Comply. Otherwise, you deserve to take a couple bullets. That's bottom line. How about the price of silver lately? Okay, well, how about that? Let's look. $113.93. So it'll be at 114 in now. It's at $114. So there's not much to talk about there, but what there is to talk about is the disaster cycle, the documentary on YouTube, which is not mine, but I'm going to promote the shit out of it anyway. And the reason I'm promoting the shit out of it is because I love you people, and I want you to survive what's coming. And no, this isn't a joke. And no, I'm not a prepper. And no, I'm not crazy. Okay, wait, that last part was maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Let's see. Okay. 100-ounce minimum order with you. Marty. Nobody calls me Marty. You are asking for a friend. Otherwise, they wouldn't call me Marty, because they know that unless there's 5 people who call me Marty, that I don't strangle the life out of. So you must be asking for one of them. Didn't anything but expect to be ignored. Totally fine. Okay, well then I will totally ignore you, I guess. And now for something completely different. Yes, let's see. What the hell? Maybe 5 years to go, no problem with that. Really? Ew, dude, that's sad. Go sit in the corner. You're in fucking timeout until you pull your head out of your ass. You want to live to be well, okay, here's the thing. If you got all kinds of chronic shit wrong with you and you're like every morning you get up in pain and you fucking hate when the sun comes out because it's too bright and all that, like, okay, I get it. But like, if you have a will to live and your attitude is, geez, I hope I make it for fucking 3 more, no, that's bullshit. Man up. Okay. Take some fucking testosterone if you have to. I'm not on it, but you clearly should be. I probably will be someday, but I'm not right now. Are you no fancy hat today? No, it's okay. I just assumed that you were talking for Jay Bishop, who calls me Marty and always has. And so does his wife. And for some reason, it doesn't bother me. I guess it's because they've been doing it since I was 13. Oh, I know what it is. Because, yeah, it was on the floor. I know exactly why I don't kick his ass for saying that. Because when I was a freshman in high school, I was about to get the shit beat out of me by a senior who was a lineman on the varsity football team. And this guy who was 5'11" and weighed about 170 pounds soaking wet stepped up to him and said, "Hey, he's my friend. You got a problem with him, you got a problem with me. You got a problem with me, Heilman?" And Norman Heilman, by the way, if you're out there, Norm, you're so lucky I didn't kick your ass after I joined the Marine Corps. But I saw that look on your face, you scared little sissy boy. Anyway, this guy was bullying me. And so Jay stepped in and said, "Look, you want a piece of him? Then you got to get a piece of me first. So you got a problem? Let's step outside." And this guy who was twice his size said, "Hey, man, whatever. Don't be a dick." And walked away. And I thought, what the fuck? This dude must be badass because he's literally half that guy's size. And he just faced him down like it was nothing. Like he was just excited about the idea of taking him outside and beating his ass. And I thought, wow, cool. And then he invited me to the first party I was ever invited to, because at that point I was just a nerdy, fat kid, smart ass. I was about 5'3", maybe 5'4". I weighed about 200 pounds, solid fat. I was actually in the process of trying to bench press just the bar, just bench press the bar, when Norman Heilman came over and Jack Heilman, sorry. Norm Heilman was his older brother and very cool guy. Jack Heilman. And Jack Heilman pushed the bar down on my throat and said, "What are you doing in the weight room, fat ass?" And of course, he couldn't answer him because he was choking me. But that's when Jay stepped in and Matt Austin, another guy who can call me Marty whenever the fuck he wants, because those two guys not only saved my ass from being bullied, which I was all the time, but on top of that, they took me to my first party. They told people that I was cool, which I don't know. I don't know why they said that. The first party I went to with them, I went up to the keg. They said, "Go grab a beer and just hand it to the guy with the tapper. He'll fill it up for you." And I stood there with it in my hand for, 10 minutes while he filled up everybody else's beer. And he glanced at me a couple times with total disdain. And I thought, well, shit, maybe I'm supposed to say something. But I was afraid to. Jay walked up and said, "Hey, man, where's your fucking beer? Hey, why didn't you fill up Marty's beer?" And the guy goes, "Oh, he's a friend of yours. Hey, okay, Jay, no problem." He filled my beer up, and that was it. If I walked up, he filled my beer before anybody else's for the rest of the night. And I thought, what in the hell is going on? It was like a movie, swear to God. It was like, you're that fat little kid that everybody beats up, literally beats up, pushes around, makes fun of, because you're a chubby little turd with a big mouth. I could not let shit slide. If somebody made fun of me, I had to stand up for myself. And because of that, I got my ass beat quite a bit. Just part of being a chubby little kid. So my point is, 20 minutes ago, Jay Bishop can call me Marty. And by the way, you can too. Whoever, that was Swenson, I think. Swenson. The son of Sven. Svensson. Anyway, what's the documentary called again? Polly. Baby. The disaster cycle. Pretty sure, right? Fuck. Just want to make sure that that's, well, it's not up here now. Oh, wait, no, it should be. Hold on. Hold that thought. Subscriptions. No, that's not the right one. Okay. History. I don't know. That's a good question. It's the disaster cycle, the documentary. Yeah, I don't know why it just disappeared, but it did. Yeah. Anyway, so for what it's worth, I get called Scotty. There you go. Disaster cycle. You bet. Now, found it. Perfect. Now, listen to me very carefully. This is very important. This guy is not full of shit. This guy is not a loon. He is extremely bright. The reason that I'm going to be doing the same thing that he's doing is because I'm going to be basically taking what he says and turning it into English for everybody who doesn't feel like they need to have a master's degree in climatology and meteorology / every other fucking thing that he studies. Because trust me, it's a lot. Solar science, cosmology, there's a whole lot that goes into this. And so we're just now beginning to see, let me give you an example, okay? And these are things that you know, and you know are true that were not necessarily things that were commonly known when we were kids, okay? Number one, El Nino. If you're from the West Coast, you know that when we were kids, there was no such thing as El Nino. There was just wet years and dry years. Well, then they figured out that it was actually a cycle. I believe it's 9 years. It's El Nino. And then we found out after that there's the opposite cycle, which is La Nina. So El Nino, La Nina. And now that's part of our dialogue. It's like the polar vortex. When we were kids, there was no polar vortex. There was no such thing, but it's something we've discovered. The polar vortex is real, and it can actually kick your ass. So what else have we figured out? Well, we figured out that there's something called a grand solar minimum. They happen about every 400 years, and basically what happens is the sun takes a little bit of a nap. Now, you walk outside, you still see the sun. It's not like it's dark, but the intensity of the sun goes down slightly. And during that time, the temperatures on Earth can fall by as much as a few degrees. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot on average, but when you look at the effects during wintertime, the last time we had a grand solar minimum was it was a little over 400 years ago. So we get them about every 412 years. The reason I bring that up is because we have solar minimums and solar maximums that rotate about every 11 years. The sun wakes up, calms down, wakes up, calms down, back and forth and back and forth. By the way, the magnetic poles of the sun flip back and forth quite regularly. By the way, there's a heartbeat for the sun. Now, it's not its heart. I'm not saying it has a heart, but I'm saying that there's this pulse that comes out of the sun very regularly. Thank you. 115. Really? Is that what's going on here? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm showing 114.45, but I'm sure that you probably did see 115 because it's all over the place. That's called a solar flare. No, this is different. See, Johnny, this is why I want you guys to understand what's going on here. You have minimums and maximums. They happen constantly. We are finishing out a solar maximum. Okay. I believe we're in cycle 25. When that's over, probably the end of this year, we'll go into a very quiet point for several years where we will see very few solar flares, very few. And then we'll go into a maximum again. And the next maximum, all hell is probably going to break loose for real. So we're looking at about 10, 12 years from now. Now, here's the key. There are minimums and maximums that happen constantly. There are grand minimums that happen, but we don't have any records of a grand maximum, so to speak. We have some maxims that are a little higher. You have hundreds of sunspots in a very short amount of time. And then there are other maxims where you have dozens in a very short amount of time. Now, the amount of sunspots and the amount of activity directly affect the climate on Earth. Not that day, not that week, and maybe not even that year, but over the course of a solar maximum, you have this buildup, and slowly you have this global warming. So, is there anything other than that, though? Well, as it turns out, it looks like there's, on top of all of this back and forth, it looks like there may be a wave, just like the wave of ups and downs with the sun. There may be ups and downs with the entire galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy itself, and all the spiral arms, and radiating out from the middle of these spiral arms, the center, there may be what is called the galactic current sheet. And the galactic current sheet goes up and down in terms of its amount of energy. I know. It looks like we have this wave that comes through about every 12,000 years. Now, think back to 12,000 years ago. It was when the Ice Age ended, just like that. It looks like we're heading for something along those lines. Now, what caused the end of the Ice Age? Well, they are just like sine waves. And what are sine waves? It's energy. These are sine waves on a galactic scale. Think about that. These are sine waves that are so incredibly powerful and massive that they are the size of a solar system. That's what's coming. And that's why it's important to learn, number one, what's coming, where it's going to hit, how it's going to hit, how to save ourselves, the frequency, because the frequency seems to be a fairly small but significant hit every 6,000 years. And then every 12,000 years, we get slammed. And I mean slammed. When did all the megafauna go extinct in North America? 12,000 years ago. And what is the prevailing attitude? That we ate them. Now, think about that for a second. A bunch of tiny people, and when I say tiny, cavemen were small, Homo sapien, modern Homo sapien, and yet somehow they managed to use sticks to kill 25 million elephants and eat them? Sounds suspicious. No, it sounds idiotic. Because on top of that, you have to kill millions of sloths that, by the way, are the size of fucking bison. You have to kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of short-faced bears. And a short-faced bear and a cave bear make a polar bear look like a fucking chihuahua. They were massive animals. On and on and on. Megafauna like you couldn't believe. And somehow these dipshits from Europe, these old European white guys, decided that nah, it was a bunch of guys with sticks. They stuck them over the sticks again and again, and then ate them. Well, Johnny, I hope you're right. I hope that all of this is for naught. But I can tell you for a fact that the climatological record does not lie. The geological record does not lie. When you see certain sediment all around the world at a certain depth, you see this fat 6-inch thick black line that goes through sand dunes and goes through mountains and goes through hills at the same depth. And you go, whoa, what caused the earth to burn like that? Well, it wasn't a campfire gone awry, because an average woodland fire might burn, let's call it 1,000 degrees. That's not hot enough to vitrify rock. That's not hot enough to turn half of the Sahara Desert into glass. You think I'm exaggerating? Look it up. And I believe it was 1925, an entire expedition drove out into the Sahara Desert and realized once they got out there a ways that, hey, we're driving on what looks like glass. It was something heated the sand of the Sahara Desert to such an incredibly super hot temperature that it vitrified the sand. And what happens when you melt pure white sand? It turns to glass. Now, I know you're thinking, well, wouldn't you have that same amount of heat if an asteroid hit? Yes, you certainly would, in a very small localized area. So if that's the case, how do you explain Sahara Desert over here, Atacama Desert over here? See, there's this thing called the Atlantic Ocean in between. Glass, sphericals that are diamond sphericals, little teeny diamonds from all the heat and compression, little teeny diamonds. Oh, by the way, did I mention that they're found over here and that they're found over here and over here and over here and over here and over here? Yeah. Okay, so we know something massive happened, something major. What was it? Well, that is what I'm going to be going over with you guys for the next, let's call it a year, shall we? So, will I still be talking about silver? Yes, I will still be talking about silver. Why? Because that's the business that I'm in. And I love silver. Silver is my friend. If silver were a girl, I'd marry her. She's a little too petite for me. I like my women big. That's not true. I just like my women to be nice to me. That's all I care about. You don't have to be skinny or fat or tall or... It's fine. I don't care if you're purple. Silver is high right now. So am I. Wait, I didn't mean that. 115. And it's just going to keep going. Just keep going. So for those of you who are interested, I'll be teaching you a lot about this. I want you to understand that if you go to Ben Davidson's channel, I love Ben. Ben is like the little brother that I never wanted because he's too smart. How old is your shirt? I got this shirt at Outdoor World in 2015. The reason I know that is because I was at Outdoor World today buying a shirt. And I said to myself, son of a bitch, this is one of those redhead shirts. Just like the one I'm buying. When did I buy this? So I'm glad you asked. Because I have been through hell and back with this shirt. It's been a good shirt. It's on its last legs. As you can see, it's starting to rip a little bit here, rip a little there. But you know what? It's soft. That feels good. I'm going to keep doing that after the live stream, I think. Anyway, okay. Well, so we've done an hour and 13 minutes. That's not, it still fits. That's right. It looks comfy. It is very comfy. I'm going to do a live stream on both every night. I can see that I don't know what the counter says as far as how many people are on here, but apparently TikTok's okay with this, which is awesome because this is something that is extremely important to me. And it just became, thank you, 111. Perfect. This is something that is just as important to me now as when I started studying it back in like 2012, 2013. And if you guys want, I will do a podcast. 112. Thank you. Appreciate that. I will do a podcast with Ben. I will ask him some basic questions. And the reason I say that is because he's fuck, he's super smart, but he's gotten to the point now where it's almost hard to understand a lot of what he says. And I've kept up with him to the point where I can basically interpret it and then turn it into English. But if you're not what he calls an observer, like a veteran observer, if you're a newbie, unless you work for NASA or the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, you're screwed. Whoa, what is this? It says I just redirected people to buy products that are not on here. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. I can't believe that they just did that. Okay, I'm going to appeal that. The appeal is in progress. Okay. What? How is this possible? Come on, guys. Lighten the fuck up on me here. Let's see. And then go this way. Bam. Okay, there. Yeah, come on, guys. Lighten up. It will sound like Klingon. It really does. It's tough. But here's the thing. It's extremely important that you trust him. And the only way to trust him is to know that he's a serious dude. Ben David's son, maybe they think I was selling shirts. I'm not selling shirts, TikTok. Lay off. Ben Davidson, oh, that's maybe Pedro. Maybe that's why they got me, because I mentioned the other place that you can go for information, where my other channel is. That's perhaps what they're fussing about. Anyway, bottom line is Ben's a good dude, and he takes his shit very seriously. He really does. Not a joke. He's not doing this because he wants to become a billionaire. As a matter of fact, based on the fact that he's got 800,000 people, he makes less than a lot of people that have 150, 200,000 subs. And the reason is they don't really like a lot of what he says, so they throttle him back quite a bit. He doesn't care. He's not doing this for the money. He's doing this because he realizes that this is a profound earth change that nobody's talking about. Now, I'm going to say this now, and then I'm going to make a TikTok because I have to, because TikTok doesn't save my live streams. But this is very important. You guys on YouTube, you know that this whole thing will be available to you, so you can watch the whole thing again if you want. But why won't the government talk about this? And it's very simple. There's no such thing as a good government. And that's not my opinion. That's Thomas Paine, who wrote the book Common Sense, the booklet, really. It's a very small book. I've read it. One of the things that he says, and this is something that if you watch my podcast with Randall Carlson, you'll see when Randall read this, he was blown away because he's read Common Sense. He's a very, very learned guy, but he read it when he was 14 or something. You know, he was told to in school. When he read it again as an adult, just the first page, he was blown away by what it said. And what it says basically is there's no such thing as a good government. Governments are established among men to sort of keep their more base, vile instincts at bay, okay? Societies come together to trade ideas and to trade goods and services and to do good things and to help each other. But once you get societies to a certain point where there's a certain amount of people, then all of a sudden the bad guys kind of sneak in. And you need somebody who is more vile and more terrible and more violent to scare those people into submission. So you have a government and it governs you because you can't govern yourself. Now, for 90% of us, that's bullshit. We can. The other 10% maybe need that. Here's my point. If in the course of doing this, your government becomes corrupt, as they all do, and they begin to scare you into giving them more money because there's always an enemy on the horizon which is going to take your freedom away. And they tell you this every single day while they slowly and carefully take your freedoms away for your own good. While this is happening, if there is ever a threat that is something they can't protect you from, the last thing in the world that you should ever ever expect the government to do is to inform you about it. Because by making themselves look impotent against this threat, they make you wonder, why am I giving 56 cents of every fucking dollar I earn to a group of people who can't protect me from the things that threaten me the most? And I don't mean terrorism. That's fucking stupid. And I don't mean China, because everything made in China is garbage. I'm talking about real threats. Like, what about an asteroid? Well, the last one that zipped past us was coming from the sun, so we didn't see it until it went by. And once it went zipping by, we went, oh shit, whoa, that would have fucked us up. Woo, good thing that didn't hit. Oh, I'm sorry. Could you take some of the $1 trillion a year that you shit away on garbage protecting me from no one and spend it actually protecting me? That'd be nice. I'd be down with that. My point is this: they're never going to tell you that there is a real threat unless they created it and they can control it. They did not create the sun and they have zero control over it. So if the sun is actually the number one existential threat to humanity, do not expect the government, the people who literally suck half of your income, who live as a parasitic organism on you, to tell you about it. Why would they do that? So, from here on out, that will be my job and Ben Davidson's job. Now, if you are already in climatology, oceanography, cosmology, astrophysics, you don't need me, just go straight to Ben. If, however, you want somebody to translate some of the gobbledygook into actual English, I will be doing that. And I will have him on my podcast if that's something you guys are interested in. And I'll ask him questions that I get from you over, let's say, the next 2 or 3 weeks. You guys can shoot questions at me. And by the way, you can send me questions by text because, as you know, on TikTok, my number is right there on my bio. TikTok was created in China. Yeah, exactly. And look how fucking great it works nowadays. Of course, that didn't break until the Americans got a hold of it. And I'm not sure that breakage was coincidental. All right, guys. Good live stream. I had fun with this. Let's do this again tomorrow. Same bat channel, same time, etc. All right, TikTok. Now I can't shut you off. What the hell? There we go. It's trying to tell me to play a game. Are you shitting me? Oh, all right. Well, thank you. All right, good. Okay. Yeah. Wow, this is cool. You know what it's saying? I made money on TikTok, baby. I made, and you're going to have to see this to believe it, but yeah, that's right. I made 5 cents. That's right, YouTube. Suck it. Estimated this week. This is why I don't trust them. You see how it says estimated this week? And it's less than what I just did? How? How is that possible? I had 2,000 viewers. I've got 3 new followers. I had 12,000 likes. Thank you for banging on that like thing for me so much. And now I've got 119,900 people because I've been stuck at that for a year. So let's take a look. Still at 119,900. Oh. Nope. Yep, 119,900. They're never letting me get to 120,000. And that's just sad. But you know what? We can get to 100,000 here, aren't they? All right, folks. Let's see. Okay, hold on. What's this? See, they don't want you to leave. That's why. Yeah, exactly. Right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, tonight's going to be, this will be the beginning of a whole new chapter for Big and Corn Fed and you guys, because I'm going to go watch the documentary myself right now. I started it just to get a taste. Of course, I know what's in it, but I just wanted to get a taste of the style. And so I watched 15 minutes of it and went, okay, I got it. I see how he, like the flavor of the sort of the retro, and it's good. Now I'm going to go watch the entire thing. And yeah, I'm going to teach you guys a lot about what's going on. And this is going to be super important because this is literally our future. And more importantly, it's our children's future. And if you have grandchildren, it is absolutely your grandchildren's future. No question about it. So